What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to be going over the topping decks for Bt-6 so far in the major tournaments, the two online regionals that has happened for Bt-6 in Europe. Sadly, we haven't gotten the card support here, and we won't have that until December. We won't have Bt-6 pretty much live. So guys, let's dive right in and let's see what Bt-6 has in store for so far in the meta. So let's dive right in and let's check it out. So we have DC1 Grand Prix for October 23rd. So this is a very interesting format, and we already know that we have a lot of heavy hitters coming into this format, which I'm very excited for. So let's go in. The first one is none other than Bonds of Friendship. This deck is crazy. I can see where they're using one of the promo Gabumon, and then you get the Gabumon that is from the trial deck. You get Commandramon from the trial deck to help if it pops in security, to draw you some added advantage. Even hard playing, it's not bad. They're using Riddlestar to help board control, board removal, which is really good. One Kaida's Breath is pretty solid in this deck. I can see they're using two of the memory searcher booster, so at least they can filter in. These cards are kind of like mandatory, so you do need it for this deck. Like, I can't see this deck playing without it. Hammer Spark, pretty solid, because again, if it's revealed in security, it could pass it your turn, and then it triggers your Davis to allow you to go further. But this isn't the ancient one. This is a heavy focus on Bonds of Friendship, so definitely don't sleep on that. Then we have another Bonds of Friendship using the max possibility of Rattlestar, which, to be honest with you, that's a really solid tech, because the fact is it's board control, it's removal. It helps remove wide boards. If they have 3 Digimon out, you get to send one back, and it's just one removable card anyway, but that's not bad. It just has a very weird wonky requirement. So, but this guy is playing 1, 2, 3 of the, Gabumon that searches for a tamer, which I see that it's a very solid tech choice, especially going forwards into our meta. He's going to be our mandatory. I think we're going to have him, because this Gabumon will not be in for the first couple weeks, so definitely take that into account. So then we have Bonds of Friendship here, just being Bonds of Friendship. We have a Commandramon in here for that security search or anything like that. It looks like he is playing what I'm guessing that's Gorillamon. So he's playing Gorillamon, which is not a bad tech choice. It's a 1-cost evolve. And then we get Security Control Beelzestar. I did showcase this deck on my channel after getting my butt kicked, so I definitely think this is a pretty solid tech choice. It's got so much power behind it. It's got so much removal. But the problem is, if the Bonds of Friendship can just stay on the board, they don't have big enough outside of Wyvern's Breath to really take it out, or Eden's Javelin, or the Flying Bullet, or this. So they have to see one of those, and if this can get 3 to 4 attacks in, and it just cakewalks the security, that's a big issue. The deck just kind of just goes and wants to do its own thing. And even if you flip the Commandramon, it can get bottom decked if it's not even done swinging, so you have to take that into account. So really, its security threats are Wyvern's Breath, the Iron Fist, and the Flying Bullet. If they don't see any of that, the card's just going to cakewalk it. And even then, it could be more powerful depending on its eggs and sources. So if it's got the Demi-Vmon and the Gabumon here, and it gets 2 swings in, it's bigger than the Wyvern's Breath. The only cards that could kill it is the Iron Fist and the Flying Bullet, so definitely take that into account. Then we have a Jessamon in 4th place, which is using the trial deck Gilamon to warp into nothing. So it's just using the Gilamon for a draw target, and they're also playing the promo Gilamon that lets them draw a card, which is really nice when it attacks. So at least it's compensating you for attacks if you had to hard play this or anything like that. Gravity Rush is really good card. This card gets played going forwards in a lot of red decks because you don't care if you give them to. you just want that to be, if you don't have the tie out, just to be able to get into your, you know, Jessamon, you have to guarantee it. So I can definitely see where playing this card is so viable, and Dedicated Plan is just the straight up take this deck out of its eyesight. Just being able to swing in multiple attacks into security for 1, possibly 2 checks, with 2 checks, with 1, 2, 3 security checks, and 1 Dedicated Plan, restand, boom. That's 6 security wiped out in 1 turn, and then Digivolve right into an Omnimon. Boom, this deck just crumbles underneath it because it just can't handle that much pressure. And having Dedicated Plan live just shuts them off. Then you have this one. This is Three Musketeers in a nutshell, which is purple theme this time around, which is very solid. I love the Rebellion text. The, you know, rush form here is really good. Then you have a bunch of big boss Digimon that is pretty decent, I gotta say. But Gundramon and Beelzestar is pretty much the main focus of this deck because they both do something really wonky, and this one's just a big blocker. So being able to block your opponent's stuff is just really good at the end of the day. I don't see any issues with that. So definitely take that into account. So that was 8th place. Sadly, they didn't get the rest of it, and I can't get the rest. So I don't have 5th, 6th, or 7th, which you guys only really care about the top 4 anyway at the end of the day, what goes. So let's go into the next one. Let's go into what happened this weekend. This weekend was Grand Prix October Halloween. So winner was Stenfen. I don't know who Stenfen is. He's probably a pretty solid, great player. So first off, we got our Black Royal Knights taking first. It's a really great deck, I gotta say. It's one of the fundamentally powerful decks because it counters a lot in this meta, and especially since it does have Ultimate Flare as an option. And I love the Iron Fist tech. This punch is just really good. I think this punch is solid. Being able to have your Digimon take out a couple extra security checks and be beefy is very easy in this deck because a lot of your stuff just gives power. This card here just helps against the bond matchup. If the bonds hit into that, it de-digivolves it instantly, and they're kind of screwed. And because of the way Matt is worded and Ty is worded, this card revealed de-digivolves it, and it's going to die anyway because it says that Digimon will be killed if they have more than 1 security left. So if they don't have 0, that Digimon is pretty much, you know, dead straight out. So this revealing insecurity just helps out. Then the Mechanori I definitely see just to help mitigate against the Commandramon rush, because Commandramon rush is popping up everywhere, by the way. Looks like this tournament had a bunch of them, and it's a really solid deck. And then the Shademon, I kind of see where they were going with this, and the Tide is really just the icing on the cake to help mitigate Yellow's removal. But Koreamon's in here to help stop with the Three Musketeer shenanigans. Just really does Ultimate Flare, Memory Booster. It's all great cards. Let's talk about the Commandramon decks here. So they get the Black Memory Booster here. They get the Commandramons. I kind of get where they were going with the Pagumon. Pagumon with this, it's nuts. It's an instant +2 in most cases. Worst case +1. And terrible case you get negged. But that's fine as long as you +1 in one of those departments. And being able to draw in, getting extra cards is really good and helpful. So I don't mind this, and you can choose which way it goes off. So if you want to check the top 3 first, you check the top 3, or you can use Pagumon first and draw a card. So it all helps out in the end game. It's not even funny. Then the mats, Izzy is pretty good here. I think Izzy probably is a little too high taxing. I think you would probably want to go down to 2 Izzy's and go up to 2 Izzy Joes, but he definitely played really well. The Iron Fist and Ultimate Flare just helps put the icing on the cake and just call it a day. This card is just nuts because that can help you get out of bad situations. So third place was none other than Ancient Bonds of Friendship, which is a really great deck regardless of situation. I gotta say, Cocytus Breath, you know, Memory Booster, Riddle Star. So this is basically what we saw that took first place, but with just the tweak in for the, you know, bonds and the ancient support. So I definitely see where they're going with this. Now we have the none other than our good friends playing Security Control yet again. This is Beelzestar Security Control. Definitely big contender here. You're going to see this a lot. So you just need decks that can just either replenish their stuff or not care about the removal. Because the only card that can remove Ridemyavatar right now is this, the Wyvern's Breath. So definitely take that into account. And maybe you just get bigger because of your ties. You can get enough power boost into the ceiling. You're pretty fine. You don't have to worry about much. So removal states, we got Wyvern's Breath, Iron Fist, Flying Bullet, and then you have Ultimate Flare, just Happy Flying Bullet as well, Eden's Javelin, and a lot of cards that just annoy everybody. So definitely take that into account. And then you do have another 5th place, you know, Commandramon list. Commandramon is just going to be that go-to deck for Rookie Rush players this format. So definitely be on the lookout because this deck is just fire, straight fire. Because the core Dramons just alone help out, and having Iron Fist Onslaught just helps out even further. Now we do have a Jessamon with the ability to warp into Gallantmon. Sorry about that. So with Gallantmon here, you know, these are always live. The Sister Mons being able to draw a card and then gaining a memory on play. Well, this gives power to your board, pretty much your Royal Knights and, you know, Hackmons. So definitely take that into account. 7th place was Lilithmon Loop. Lilithmon Loop is still a really solid techie deck. It just got better because it got Purple Memory Booster. It's got the Jack Raids. Even then, it's got Wizardmon as a full set. This is crazy. So I'm using the Tenya Abia to just go out on a whims is really good. In all honesty, I think this deck probably has a few more things to go on to, but at least having the Tenya to slow down the Commandramons is really good, because one Commandramon, if you have a couple of these out, means that's costing them 3 to swing in, and that could just pass turn for them, and they can't afford that. Then we had 8th place was none other than Ancient Bonds of Friendship. This deck is just not going anywhere anytime soon. It's got 2 Cocytus Breaths, and then it has the Wing Raid, which not a bad techie card in my opinion. And then 9th place was none other than the Bonds of Courage or Bravery deck. And I think this deck isn't going to go anywhere. I think give it a couple more tournaments and this deck probably will be one of the top. It'll go from 9th place to all the way to probably 2nd. Just don't sleep on this deck. This deck is really good. So, guys, let's wrap it up. So what did you guys think of this tournaments? What do you think about Bt-6 and as a whole? I know US is so dying for this format. It's killing us. But guys, without further ado, hopefully you enjoy, and we'll dive. Let's catch you in the next video. Peace!